KUAM FM, I got any Guam. Let's go to the KUAM News Zoom room where we have sitting by actually, former Congressman Robert Underwood, who is currently in Washington, D.C. For the inauguration of President-elect Joe Biden. Congressman, when did you get into the Capitol?
I came here last night. I arrived late, well, not late the afternoon, and I'm in my undisclosed location right now in my son Ricardo's basement.
So you're in your bunker,
I'm in my bunker, so to speak,
secure
and
facility.
I get the thrill of my grandson peeking in every now and then.
So I know you're able to go around the Capitol, and I'm pretty sure it's got to be surreal. But just firsthand, what we're seeing on national reports of just the tens of thousands of guardsmen that's the reality in Washington D.C. right now, right?
It's a very unfortunate reality, and Ricardo and I are going tomorrow morning, and we had to get COVID testing, so we got COVID tested at the Pentagon last night,
Wow.
and so after that uh, and by the way, we got confirmation this morning that we're negative,
Okay.
so we are now officially authorized to go,
Right there you
and
go.
we took a drive as close as we could to the Capitol, and it's pretty ominous sight. When you get elected, when I got elected, it was Tom Foley was speaker, and he was telling us one time. He says, "When you see the dome, and the thrill doesn't come up in your heart, it's time to go home. Always remember that." And so it is an inspiring place, and it's very, very different, and all because of the behavior of one man. All the dignity and the majesty of this event has been robbed, not of Joe Biden, but of the American people, and that's the sad part about this. And so we'll see how it goes tomorrow. Always things will the sun will come up, and it'll be a better day. And after it's over, we'll be done with President Trump for a while. He'll still try to break into the media, I'm sure, and he'll come up with some alternate means, but he no longer will have the platform that he's had for the past few years.
When you went around and you saw the presence of all those National Guardsmen and women, if you could, what is the ratio you think going to be between military and like people who are just there to see the inauguration?
Well, I heard one news report that said 1,000 people were officially invited and are guests, and another report said 2,000. But given the nature of the National Guard and the number of people that are here, that means that every guest it's 10 to 1, the ratio of 10 National Guards personnel to every person.
You know,
I know that I was on the plane with 5 yesterday, Air Guard, that are from Guam coming, and very ready to go. And I also made contact with the Army Guard contingent this morning, and so we're going to have the opportunity to get together sometime after the inauguration tomorrow, just to thank them for their service.
Right. So being on the plane with the guard, what were some of the things that they were saying about this detail?
Well, they of course they were excited about it. They were thrilled about it, and a little bit of back and forth. They're always the the young people of Guam are always inspire hope in me, because you can tell that first of all they're making a little bit of a sacrifice. They didn't know where they were going. They didn't know what their specific assignment would be, but they're happy to do it. And of course, they're carrying that Guam banner with them wherever they go.
And what's on your schedule? So I know it's happening about 1 in the morning Guam time, but so how did you get invited to the inauguration, and what do you plan to do there?
Well, as a former member, I get 2 tickets to every inauguration as long as I'm alive. So
Perks.
and people are duly elected president. So I missed out the last one, but I've been to I went to Clinton and George Bush and of course Barack Obama. But you know, this is something that I wanted to see, not just as someone who's interested in it, just from the politics of it, but the history of it. Uh, I hope we never see this kind of event again. And I want to be able to tell people about it. And I want to be able to offer my reflections. And I want to be in at that moment. And I want to see Lady Gaga too while I'm at it. Because, you know, I heard she's going to be there.
Wow.
So, and Garth Brooks, I think.
Quite a
Or
duo.
one of those country
Right.
singers.
Congressman, have you been able to touch base? I'm just thinking, in a perfect world, you land in Washington, D.C., you call up Congressman Mike St. Nicholas, say, hey, I'm in town, let's go grab a dinner or whatever.
Yeah. No, that hasn't happened yet, but who knows? It might happen still. You know, I still have, I'm going to be here for the rest of the week. I have Thursday and Friday. My schedule is pretty open. I've got a couple of appointments. I'm going to see some people about some political issues and some historical issues while I'm here. So we'll see what happens.
I wanted to just bend your ear a little bit because there was a series of events that happened last week where we had Labor Director Dave Della Sola come out and talk about the pandemic unemployment assistance. And since Guam didn't have an unemployment insurance program, people who were working reduced hours were not going to be eligible for the PUA. And that announcement was made, and is not an announcement that Dave wanted to make. I mean, clearly he struggled with this and the impact that it's going to have on people, on thousands of people. But later on that afternoon, Delegate St. Nicholas had come out with a press conference and basically called out Dave Della Sola, said, you don't know what you're talking about. You should have checked with my office before announcing this. You're misinterpreting it. Nothing has changed. And then come to find out that Dave Della Sola, I mean, unfortunately, was right. And we didn't. This is one of the few times that I wanted Congressman Mike St. Nicholas to be right, but he wasn't. Just so, with your experience, how did you kind of read this chain of events, and what was your interpretation of it?
Well, I think it was pretty obvious in the legislation, even in the kind of the general coverage of it, that the parameters had changed. And so, you know, the best thing that you could say as representing the people of Guam is that it's changed, but don't worry, we're going to work on it in the next level of legislation, and we'll try to fix it. But the obligation is to tell the truth. It's so fundamental. It's just so fundamental. And I can't help but feel that the people have been misled. And of course, in this case, you know, they always say don't shoot the messenger, but boy, they shot Dave. You know,
shot him a few times,
and everybody was upset with him because he's the guy who's telling you exactly what's in the legislation and exactly the rules and the regulations, and they're upset with him. But he didn't make them; he's just reporting them. And I'm sure that in the next level of legislation, whatever needs to be fixed will be fixed. And I certainly hope that Delegate St. Nicholas expends all his efforts to make sure. And then just as a way, it's not meant to be overly critical, but if you just go to Delegate Sablon's newsletter, which comes out every week, he outlines everything in that newsletter. And it's clear and it's readable and it's understandable. He doesn't need to call a lot of press conferences. He just, you get the information, and that's what needs to happen here. It's not, why are we even discussing this? We should be deluged with information. That office should be giving out so much information about all these elements of it that the media doesn't know where to start.
Right.
But all of it needs to be accurate.
And I think that's why it's so hard to just, I feel like banging my head against the wall, because it's just really common sense. Like at that level of an office, we should be seeing information that, and I mean, you know, I'm not even saying that Delegate Khalili Sablan is an exceptional or extraordinary congressman, but that should baseline be the amount of information
It is.
that we should expect from any political office. And I mean, I just don't
Well,
get that, we get these little 2 sentence WhatsApp messages. And then when you go on the congressman's official Facebook page, I mean, it's not even regularly updated. So yeah, I think there is a
yeah.
big black hole of information, and we just got to do
Well,
better.
it's in. I don't know what the reason for that is, but there's a couple of models out there. Delegate Eleanor Holmes Norton is another one. Then of course Delegate Stacy Plaskett from the Virgin Islands, who's just kicking butt here. She's become very, very prominent. She's become the national player in politics.
Right.
She has a seat on Ways and Means, and she's now one of the 8 members of the impeachment team. I mean, imagine that she's one of the 8 prosecutors of the House of Representatives, delegate from the Virgin Islands. That's real. That's, that kind of level of leadership is very rare, and she's been able to manage that. So
Right.
she deserves some congratulations, and I hope that we're all learning from that as well.
Right.
But it really is just about information, Chris.
Yeah.
But here, I hope that as we listen to what President-elect Biden says, and as we see what he says in his inauguration speech, there'll be some things in there that we can hang on that will be of benefit to us here at home.
And we'll get you back on for the post inaugural report tomorrow morning.
Of
Robert,
course.
appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you.
Enjoy
Have a
your
great
basement.
day.
You too. Yes, that. Okay. Former Congressman Robert Underwood, who is in our nation's capital as we speak for the inauguration of President-elect Joe Biden. Guys, our tech support. What are we going to do, Jay?
Yeah, right now happening on Facebook and happening in our islands area of I'm watching and trying to talk at the same time. The very highly anticipated ceremony where our island will observe the nationwide moment of